So, Hare Krishna. In the last few weeks, we were discussing from the previous chapters of the Nectar of Devotion, wherein the definition of pure devotional service, the 6 wonderful characteristics of pure devotional service, and qualification to start pure devotional service, that is Jata Shraddho Matkatado Nirvinna Sarva Karmashu, etc. Having faith on the service to Lord Krishna and not too much attached to this material world and not too much attached on this material world. That was the qualification, basic qualification required to start bhakti. And then the principal obstacles on the path of bhakti, that is desire for bhukti and desire for mukti. These two generally become the biggest impediments on the path of bhakti. And then we discussed about various quotations from Srimad Bhagavatam and Padma Purana, other Vedic literature, that how various devotees have expressed their desire that they only want service unto the lotus feet of Supreme Lord, not happiness of Svarga or the happiness of Brahman, neither Bhukti nor Mukti, etc. And yeah. And then in the last class, we were discussing that that pure devotional service does not demand so many prerequisites. There is only faith required for the practitioner. It is not that a person need to take birth in a pious family, or a person had to go through Prayachitta ritualistic ceremonies in order to rectify the sins committed by that person, or one need to fulfill all the varnashram duties, etc. Such kind of prerequisites which are very much essential for the practice of karma or jnana are not so much essential for bhakti. So that has been established in the previous chapter. So having spoken all these things at the very beginning of this book, now Srila Rupa Goswami is going to talk about the 64 different ways of practice of sadhana bhakti. So there are different ways and means in order to practice sadhana bhakti, out of which there are 64 principal preliminary activities that we need to practice in our day-to-day sadhana. So these are very much essential. Actually, there are many more. Sanatana Goswami wrote many more in his book Satkara Sara Deepika. But Rupa Goswami has taken the principal items from that and kind of summarized them here. This chapter initiates a new section in NOD. It is a list of 64 ways to practice pure devotional service or sadhana bhakti. So in the third chapter, I think second chapter, we have already discussed that. So there are 3 types of bhakti. Sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, and prema bhakti. Actually, there are 3 different levels of bhakti. So, and then in the sadhana bhakti, we have 2 different divisions. Vedi sadhana bhakti, starting from Ado Shraddha all the way up to Ruchi stage. And the Asakti stage, Asakti platform is called as the Raganuga sadhana bhakti, where the devotees will have spontaneous attraction to the service of the Supreme Lord. So now we are going to discuss about how to execute this sadhana bhakti, which includes both Vedi sadhana bhakti and Raganuga sadhana bhakti. So there are many ways, out of which Rupa Goswami lists 64 ways. And in this chapter 6, Rupa Goswami lists them all, the 64 ways to practice pure devotional service or sadhana bhakti. And 7 to 12, he elaborates on each of these items listed in chapter 6. Chapter 2 defines sadhana bhakti as engaging our senses in some service to Lord Krishna. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktir Ruchate. That was the definition of pure devotional service. And then in the chapter 2, the definition of Vedi sadhana bhakti is mentioned as Kriti Sadhya Bhaves Sadhya Bhavasa Sadhanabhida. Nityasiddhasya bhavasya prakatyam hrudi sadhyata. So wherein it said that engaging our jnanendriyas and karmendriyas in service of Supreme Personality of Godhead, by which the bhava will manifest in the heart of the practitioner. So that was the definition of sadhana bhakti. So kruti sadhya, bhave sadhya, bhavasa sadhanabhida. So one need to engage one's jnanendriyas and karmendriyas in service of Supreme Lord, which eventually gives rise to bhava bhakti. So how to engage our senses? Now Srila Rupa Goswami describes exactly how to do that from this chapter onwards. So having defined what is sadhana bhakti, what is pure devotional service, having defined what are the obstacles, having defined what should be the goal and who should be our ideals. As last class we discussed that among all the variety of devotees, among the devotees of Lord Narayana and the devotees of Lord Krishna, the devotees of Lord Krishna are excellent, because devotees of Lord Narayana aspire for Sukha Aishwarya Uttara Mukti or Prema Seva Uttara Mukti. But the devotees of Lord Krishna only aspire Prema Seva Mukti, not Prema Seva Uttara. Because Prema Seva Uttara, though it has predominance of devotional service, loving devotional service, but it also has some tinge of Sukha and Aishwarya. But in the case of the devotees of Raja, they only desire Prema Seva. They do not want any Sukha or Aishwarya. So now that if that is the goal, so how to obtain, how to come to that platform? So that is described in the next 7 chapters, from chapter number 7 to 12, and 13th also kind of elaborates on that subject matter. Rupa Goswami says, Sanatana Goswami has compiled Haribhakti Vilasa for the guidance of the Vaishnavas, and therein has mentioned many rules and regulations to be followed by the Vaishnavas. So having instructed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Sanatana Goswami has written this wonderful book, Haribhakti Vilas, wherein all the rules and regulations for a Vaishnava are very nicely described. The Sambandha Abhidheya Tattva very nicely described. And Rupa Goswami, taking input from that, he is briefly presenting now in this chapter. Some of them are very important and prominent, are now mentioned for our benefit. So now the important one and the prominent one are mentioned in the next chapters, chapter 7 to 12, for our benefit. Though Haribhakti Vilasa is very big book, and it is very difficult for us to assimilate and understand. So Prabhupada actually warned us, because that book says that so many strict and stringent rules and regulations. It is very impractical for us to follow all of them. So in order to make it simple, Sri Rupa Goswami took very essential one, very simpler one, and presented them in his book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Rupa Goswami mentioned here only the basic principles, not details. So out of 64 items, the first 20 are preparatory principles, items of primary importance. These are very preparatory items, very essential, very important, which prepare us to practice bhakti. So out of the 20, so 1 to 10, the first 10 activities, items are the activities to accept or things to do. These are pravurti. These are basically do's. Doing these things strengthen one's underlying foundation of pure devotional service. So when we do these things, the first 10 items, the foundation to practice bhakti becomes strong. And then 11 to 20 are the activities to avoid or things to avoid. Without avoiding these things, one's devotional foundation will become corrupted and decay. So these are don'ts, nivrutti are don'ts, do's and don'ts. So first 10 are do's, second 10 are don'ts. So these 20 are the preparatory items and very essential for the practice of a sadhaka. And then 21 to 64, the remaining 44 additional, there are the remaining 44 additional ways to practice pure devotional service. 21 to 59 are the items of sadhana. 62 to 64, 5 most effective items in reawakening bhava bhakti. And these 5 items are actually repeated multiple times. They again and again come, and they have the capacity to awaken bhava bhakti in a newfied devotee. So thus, so Sri Rupa Goswami says, the first 20 and last 5 items are compulsory for the devotees. So we as the sadhakas, we need to practice the first 20 without any fail. The first 20, 1 to 10 and 11 to 20 should be practiced by all of us without fail. And the last 5 items also should be cultivated with utmost interest. In the middle, the remaining 39 items are supposed to be practiced, but even little lax is okay. But they are also supposed to be practiced. But the first 20 and the last by the 25 items should be practiced with complete vigilance, without any negligence. So it is like that. So 1 to 10 are the preliminary bhakti. Preliminary bhakti should consist of these angas. Prohibition should be observed by avoidance, 11 to 20. Among them, the most important are the first 3 angas. Among the first 20 and among the first 10, the first 3 items, 1 to 3, are very essential. Take shelter of a guru, take diksha and shiksha, serve the guru. These 3 are very essential. Why? Guru introduces one to all the other items of sadhana and guides one in their application. So without Guru, we will never understand about the remaining 61 items of bhakti. It is only the spiritual master will teach us, will help us understand these items and will teach us how to practice them. If there is no Guru, there will be no bhakti. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita it is said that in the 4th chapter, verse number 34, I think. What was the verse? Anyone can recall?
Pranipaten.
Full verse.
Pranipaten.
Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnananas tattvadarshana. It is the spiritual master who reveals us what to do and how to do. By the mercy of spiritual master only, we will understand this. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata bij. Brahmanda Brahmito Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata bij. The bhakti lata, the seed of bhakti lata, will be obtained by a sadhaka having traveled within the Brahmanda, within the 14 planet systems for many lifetimes. By the mercy of Guru and Krishna, one gets the seed of bhakti. And that seed will be nurtured, will be nourished and taken care by the process of watering, which is nothing but the process of hearing and chanting. So it is like that. So since Guru introduces one to all other items of sadhana and guides one in their application, the Guru is very much important. And the first 3 items are in relation to Guru. Thus, without first 3, execution of remaining 61 is not at all possible. So thus, the first 3 items are very essential. So even among the first 10 items. So it is like that. The remaining 44 angas are organized as other than the first 20 items, the remaining 44 are reorganized as those items which are supposed to be practiced by the whole body are 11. Those items which are supposed to be practiced by 5 senses, 5 jnanendriyas, are 7 items. Taste, 2. The items related to tasting are 2. The item related to smell, 1. The item related to touch, 1. The item related to sight, vision, 2. The item related to hearing, 1. And items related to voice, the karmendriya, are 5 items. And related to mind, 9. And tadiya seva, the various things that are related to Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna, there are 4 items. And mixed items, 3. These can be the mixture of all the other above, etc. And the 5 items, the 5 very important items repeated are Murti Seva, Bhagavat Seva, Krishna Bhakta Seva, Nama Seva, Madhura Mandala Seva. So this is a very easy way to remember how these 64 items have been organized. First 10 are do's, second 10 are don'ts, and the remaining 44, whole body 11, 5 senses 7, voice 5, mind 9, Tadiya Seva 4, mixed items 3, and the 5 important items repeated. Murti Seva, Sri Murti Seva, Bhagavad Seva, Krishna Bhakta Seva, Nama Seva, and Madhura Mandala Seva. In the Haribhakti Vilasa, innumerable angas of bhakti are mentioned. The most famous one will be explained. In bhakti, the characteristics of an anga are as follows. So how these 64 angas of bhakti have been defined or have been indicated? Rupa Goswami says that, he says that the Lord defined an anga bhakti as a complex devotional action with internal divisions, or only one action of bhakti which does not have clearly defined divisions within it. So the 64 items are called as 64 angas of bhakti. Some of the items are a single item which is very easy to understand. There is nothing, it is not at all complex to understand. But some of the items are very complex. They involve many things. There is not one item, it is like combination of many things. So it is like that. An example is given that. An example of complex action is Archana. Archana includes many things. Purification of the body, purification of the mind, purification of the items, and making garlands, making dress, and bathing the lady. Like that, various items are there in the Arati, offering this, offering that, offering that. So many items are there. It's not as one small item, one small activity. So multiple activities are combined together, and that becomes one Anga Bhakti. So such kind of Angas are called complex. And some of them are very simple. Only one action means action without clear internal divisions, such as taking shelter of the Guru's feet or standing when a deity procession comes. Taking shelter of Guru, accepting Guru as our one's life and soul. That's all. That is very simple activity. Or standing when a deity comes on procession. When the Usamurti comes out on procession, if we are seeing, we are sitting, just stand up. There is no complexity in that. Simple item, very easy to understand. Even when the altar is open, we have to stand up. It is like that. Very simple activity. So some angas are simple, single action, and some angas are complex action or multiple actions. So this is how the angas have been organized. The first 20 angas serve at the door for entering bhakti. So these 20 are the preparatory items. That these 20 practice of these 20 items prepare us to enter into the practice of bhakti. So first 10 instructions regarding preliminary bhakti. So what are these items? So one by one now we will see all the 64 items of bhakti. Guru Padashrayastasmat Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam Vishrambena Gurur Seva Sadhu Vartmanu Vartmanam. The first one is Guru Padashraya, taking shelter of Guru. Second one is Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam. Then after taking shelter of Guru, take initiation and then acquire knowledge from the Guru, hear from Guru. And then serve the Guru with respect. Vishrambena Gurur Seva. The fourth one is Sadhu Vartmanu Vartmanam. Following the rules according to the scriptures as approved by the previous Acharyas. The Guru will teach us what previous Acharyas have told. So we need to follow the instructions of the Guru, following in the footsteps of previous Acharyas, taking the example of Guru and previous Acharyas. That is Guru Vartma Anuvartmanam. Sadhu Vartma Anuvartmanam, following the path shown by the previous Acharyas. These are the first four items. Guru Padashraya Tasmat Krishna Diksha Dikshanam Vishrambena Gurur Seva Sadhu Vartmanu Vartmanam. And now next, Saddharma Purucha Bhogadi Tyaga Krishna Se Hetave Nivaso Dwaraka Daucha Ganga Der Apisannidau. Inquiry about the real duties of life. Saddharma Pucha. So we need to inquire about how to practice bhakti in our daily life and how to execute our daily activities, our varnashram duties from the Guru, from the Sadhu and Shastra. And then Renunciation of enjoyment to gain Lord Krishna's mercy. Bhoga tyagadi, bhogadi tyaga Krishna se hedave. For the sake of serving Lord Krishna or for the sake of pleasing Lord Krishna, we need to give up the tendency to enjoy the material facilities. Bhogadi tyaga. So whatever things that giving us material enjoyment, we need to detach ourselves from those things for the pleasure of Lord Krishna or for the service of Lord Krishna. Then Nivaso Dwarakadau cha Gangade Rapi Sannidau. Residing in Dwaraka or other holy places are near Ganga. So at least, if not throughout the lifetime, once in a year, we should go to holy places and stay there for a week time or something like that in the association of devotees. It's like that. Vyavahareshu sarveshu yavad artanu vartita harivasara sammano datri ashwattadi gauravam. It says that accepting only what is necessary in dealing with the body. Vyavahareshu sarveshu yavad artha anuvartita. In our daily execution of various activities, we need to accept as much as required. We should not accumulate too much facilities, hoping that I may need tomorrow, day after tomorrow, like that, not like that. So we need to accumulate the things necessary for basic necessities, something like that. Harivasara Sammana, observing the Ekadashi Vrata, Janmashtami, Ramnavami, Gaur Purnima, Nityantradashi, etc. Harivasara Sammana, giving complete respect and honoring and practicing with due regard all the holy tithis. And today is a wonderful holy tithi. Today is Ekadashi and also the Moksha Ekadashi. And more than that, today is the advent of Bhagavad Gita, the Gita spoken by Lord Krishna to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So we need to observe such days very faithfully and very respectfully. And then giving respect to Amalaki, Ashwatta and other items. Dhatri Ashwattadi Gauravam. We need to respect. Dhatri refers to Amalaki and then Ashwattadi, Ashwatta tree and other items. We need to respect them very faithfully. And these 10 are the preliminary items wherein these are the do's. We need to respect them, we need to honor them, we need to follow them very stringently without any failure. If we are failed to practice these 10 items, we are at fault, as it is mentioned in the previous chapter. And then the next 10 items, which are actually don'ts, which are supposed to be prohibited. Sangatyago vidurena bhagavad vimukairjana shishyadi anubanditvam maharambadi anudyama. It says that giving up the association of those opposed to the Supreme Lord. Sangatyago vidurena bhagavad vimukairjana. Those people who have turned their faces away from Bhagavad Bhakti, who have turned their face away from Bhagavan, from such kind of people's association, we need to stay away from them. Sangatyago, we need to detach ourselves from such kind of people who are not at all interested in Bhagavan or Bhakti. This is the first prohibition. The second thing is Shishyadi Anubanditvam, not being attached to making disciples. So for the sake of name and fame, for the sake of prestige, or for the sake of funds, the Guru should not accept disciples. Guru should not accept the well-known or wealthy disciples, etc. like that. Unless until the disciple is very eager, very sincere seeker of bhakti, the Guru should not accept them. It's like that. And not being enthusiastic for huge undertaking. Maha Arambadi Anudyama. Udyama means to start. Anudyama means one does not start the great undertakings. Otherwise, if one has not one does not have any capacity, one does not have strength to accomplish it, they are stopped in between only. So like that. And such kind of things may cause harm to the person, may actually deviate person from the path of bhakti. Such kind of activities one should not undertake. One should understand what is one's capacity, what one can do. Accordingly, one should take up. It is like that. Then Bahugranth Kalabhashya Vakya Vada Vivarjanam Vyavaharepi Akarpanyam Shokadi Avashavartita. Avoiding the study of useless books in order to earn a living or to defeat others in useless arguments. Bahukranta Kalabhashya Vyakya Vada Vivarjanam. Just in order to gain some material knowledge, in order to defeat the materialistic people, something like that, one should not read so many non-Vaishnava literature. So it is like that. Prabhupada writes that one should read only Vaishnava literature such as Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, etc. And then not feeling miserable in any material circumstances. Vyavaharepi akarpanyam. One should not be too much miserable in the material existence because the nature of material world itself is to give us misery. Dukkalayam abrahma bhuvanaloka punaravartinarjuna mahopettu kontaya punarjanmana vidyate. But Dukkalayam ashashvata, material world itself is full of miseries. So one cannot expect too much happiness in this material world. So one should understand that the nature of material world is to give misery. So be composed even in the midst of miserable situation. And finally, the 16th one is not being subject to lamentation or other extreme emotions. Shokadi avasa vartita. Understanding that the nature of this material world is to give misery only, one should not be too much lamenting about it. One should accept such kind of things. Not being subject to lamentation, other extreme emotions, because such kind of extreme emotions may influence us to question Lord Krishna, question the existence of Lord Krishna, question the existence of Bhakti. Why Bhakti is not acting upon me? Why miseries are coming one after the other? So much miserable life is, etc. One keeps questioning Lord Krishna, keeps questioning Bhakti. Bhakti is not working at all. Bhakti is useless. Like that, people come up with such kind of conclusions and they give up the practice of Bhakti. So the understanding is the nature of the material world is to give misery. So one should not too much disturbed by such kind of situation. And then Anyadevana Vajnacha Bhuta Nudvega Dayita Seva Nama Paradhanam Uddhava Bhava Karita. It says that not showing disrespect to the devatas. For the other devatas, one should never show any disrespect. One should show respect to all the devatas. And then not giving disturbance to other living beings. Bhuta Anudvega Dayita. One should be kind to other living entities. One should not show misery to other living entities. So one should be composed and one should be peaceful and one should be tolerant and one should be kind to other living entities. And not committing seva parada or nama parada. Seva nama paradhanam udbhava bhava karita. One should not commit any aparadas to the deities while executing devotional service, deity seva, and nama parada while chanting, and Vaishnava parada also, etc. This is the 19th item. Krishna Dadbhakta Vidvesha Vinindadi Asahishnuta Vatirekataya Misham Dasanam Syad Anushtita. It says that not tolerating the criticism of Lord Krishna and his devotees by those who hate them. Krishna Tad Bhakta Vidvesha Vinindadi Asahishnuta. One should never tolerate the blasphemy of Lord Krishna or Lord Krishna's devotees. For oneself, thorough Trunadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Saishna. But when it comes to others, Asaishnuta. One should never tolerate the blasphemy of Lord Krishna or his wonderful devotees. So it is like that. These 10 angas should be observed by avoidance. So one should be vigilant in practicing the first 10 do's and the second 10 don'ts. So these are the first 20 items of do's and don'ts. So Rupa Goswami says, Asyas tatra praveshaya dvaratvepi anga vismate trayam pradhanam evoktam guru padashrayadikam. These 20 angas serve as the door for entering bhakti. Asyas tatra praveshaya. Tatra refers to the bhakti, sadhana bhakti. Dvaravate api anga vismite. Out of the 64 angas, the first 20 angas are like the door to enter into the process of bhakti. Trayam pradhanam evoktam guru padashrayadikam. But among the 20, the first 3 are very, very, very essential, starting with Guru Padashraya. Guru Padashraya, Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam, and Gurur Seva, Vishrambena Gurur Seva. These 3 are very important among the 20. But the first 3 angas are said to be the principal ones. What are they? Taking shelter of the feet of Guru, receiving teachings after initiation, serving the Guru with respect.
నేను వచ్చి దగ్గర ఉన్నా పర్వాలేదు ఆన్నే ఉంటుంది ఒకటిట్టుకోతావు మహేష్ ఉంటాడు నువ్వు పొద్దున్న అనుకున్నా ఏం లేదు చదువుకుంటున్నా.
Though all 20 angas acts as the door to bhakti, the first 3 angas are the most important. So the above 3 are very essential. So the remaining 44 angas have been listed here. So before that, any queries till now? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, any queries? Everything is okay? Is my voice is clear and audible to all of you?
In between it is getting cut, Prabhuji. It is falling silent in between.
Okay, okay. I'm sorry. Actually, this week I did not come to Hyderabad. I'm trying from my village only. I came to the outside of village and trying from there.
Okay, that is why in between it is, words are getting cut. Full words we are not, I am not able to listen.
Okay, okay. Sorry for that. Okay, if there are no queries, we'll go ahead with the remaining 44. So out of the 44, the next 11 items are supposed to be practiced by the whole body. So what are the 11? Dhritir Vaishnava Chinnanam Hare Namaksharassya cha Nirmalyadescha Sasyagre Tandavam Dandavannati. It says that marking the body with the Vaishnava symbols. Dhritir Vaishnava Chinnanam, putting Vaishnava tilak. Marking the body with the symbols of the Lord's names. Hare Namaksharassya. Some people put tattoos. Hare Krishna, like that whole Mahamantra or some Mahamantra or Sri Radhe, Jai Radhe, Sri Radhe, like that. And then wearing the garlands, flowers and sandalwood offered to the deity. Nirmalyadisha Tasyagre. So once the garlands are offered to the Lord, when they are taken out from the altar, we can wear them and we can take the fragrance of the flowers and sandalwood and scent, etc. Dancing before the deity, Tandavam. Like Lord Shiva dances, Tandava Nrutya, like that one should dance before the deities during Guru Puja and Haranam Sankirtan, etc. etc. And Dandavan Nati, offering respects on the ground. One should fall flat like a danda, like a rod, and offer full respects to Supreme Lord. The male should offer Ashtanga Dandavat, the Sashtanga Dandavat, the whole body should be offered while offering pranam. The woman should offer half Dandavat. So it's like that. And the remaining items are Abhyuttanam Anuvrajya Gatistane Parikrama Archanam Paricharya Cha Geetam Sankirtanam Japa. So the red one are corresponding to the items are performed supposed to be the whole body. The black one will be the next part. So rising up to see the Lord, Abhyuttanam. As soon as the altar opens, one should get up. As soon as the deity comes out of the procession, out for the procession, one should get up, etc. It's like the Lord should be treated as the king. When king comes into the darbar, everyone gets up in the assembly. So like that. So when the Lord darshan is open, or Lord is coming out in the procession, one should get up, etc. Following behind the Lord's procession, Anuvrajya. When the Usvamurti goes on procession, one should follow the procession. It should not that when the deity comes, one should get up and offer obeisance, do one's activities, not like that. One should actually follow the procession for some time. And going to the Lord's residence, Gatisthane, one should visit temple periodically and one should go to holy places periodically. It is like that. Circumambulating the Lord or his Dhamma. Parikrama. Whenever we go to temple, we should actually circumambulate the temple for 3 or 4 rounds. When we go to Dham, we should also circumambulate Dham, like Vrindavan Parikrama, Mayapur Parikrama, or Govardhan Parikrama, etc. And then performing Archana. Performing menial service to the deity, Paricharya. So all these 11 items requires the engagement of the whole body. Getting up, offering obeisances, and wearing the garland, worshipping the deity. The whole body needs to be engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. That's why these 11 items are said to be performed by whole body. It is like that. And now, next 5 items are supposed to be practically connected to the voice. Geetam Sankirtanam Japa Vignapti Savapatascha. Geetam refers to singing for the deity. It's like singing a song or singing Vishnu Sahasranama or singing Govinda Madhi Purusham or singing Brahma Samhita. That kind of thing is called Geetam. And singing in group, that is called Sankirtanam. Harinam Sankirtan, whenever we do Kirtan in the temple, that is called Sankirtanam. And performing Japa, the morning whatever chanting we do, that is Japa. Silently, whatever is done silently is called Japa. Done by a single person loudly is called Geetam. Done by multiple people is called Sankirtanam. And done silently, that is called Japa. Offering words or sentiments, Vignapti. So this is like silent prayers. When we stand in front of deity, we offer prayers seeking the mercy of the Supreme Lord. That is called Vignapti. And then Stavapata, reciting prayers. Either we can compose our own prayers or repeat the prayers of the previous devotees. Like Prahlad Maharaj prayers, Sukadeva Goswami prayers, Parikshit Maharaj prayers, like that, offering somebody else's prayers. That is called Stavapata. So these are the 5 items which are supposed to be performed by one's voice. Geetam, Sankirtanam, Japa, Vignapti, Savapata, etc. 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Swado Naivedya Padayo Padyayo Dupa Malyadi Saurabam Sri Murter Prutir Ikshnam Arati Kostavadescha Shravanam. So now there are next 7 items which are connected to 5 senses, 5 jnanendriyas. So 2 items are connected to taste. So what are they? tasting food offered to the Lord. Swado Naivedya. Once morning breakfast or Rajbhog or evening Vaikalika Bhog or night Sandhya Bhog, when Maha Bhog is offered to the Lord, when it comes out of Mahaprasad, that should be accepted with full reverence and full respect. Swado Naivedya. And then Swado Padayo. When the deities are bathed, the Charanamurti was distributed to all the devotees, especially on the birth tithis, Janma tithis. The respective deities are bathed. The Charanamurti is given. Even every day morning also, the Shaligram Shila is bathed. The Charanamurti is distributed to all the devotees during Guru Puja. That is, tasting the foot water of the Supreme Lord. And these two items are connected to the tasting. And one item is connected to the smell. Dhupa Malyadi Saurabhyam. Smelling the incense and flowers offered to the Lord. Incense, the agarbatti or whatever, the flowers when they are offered to the Lord and afterward when they are distributed to the devotees, one should smell them with utmost respect. And one item is connected to the touch, touching the deity. Sri Murtir Sprutir. So especially in the Pandharpur, when devotees go there, so most of the times the devotees are given the opportunity to touch the feet of Pandarnath. They actually put their head or touch the hands, the touch and put their hand on their head, etc. Even the pujaris, when they go to altar room, as soon as they enter, they first touch the feet of the deities and they start their activity of deity seva within the altar, etc. Especially in the morning or evening, when they go for dressing, that time they do this. May not be for every arati. Then two items are come to sight. That is seeing the deity, Sri Murte Ikshanam. So one should see the form of the deity with utmost reverence. And then Arati Kostavadeshas, seeing the Artika and festivals. So one should see the Arati also with utmost respect. And on the festival days, one should see the bathing ceremony of the Supreme Lord and see the special dressing and special offerings, all those things and special Arati performed on those days. One should see them with utmost respect. And finally, one item is connected to the hearing, that is Shravanam. Hearing the name, form, qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Hearing Krishna Katha. So these are the 7 items connected to the 5 Jnanendriyas. This is Rasa, Shabad, Gandha, Sparsha and Rupa and Shabda, so etc. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, like the 5 senses. And then the 9 items are supposed to be performed by mind. Tat kripekshanam, smrtirdhyanam, tatadasyam, sakyam, atmanivedanam, nija priyopaharanam, tadarte akila chestitam, sarvartha sharanapattis. So these are the 9 items which are supposed to be performed by mind. So 44 is accepting the mercy of the Lord, tat krupekshanam, remembrance of the Lord, smruti, meditating on the Lord, dhyanam, acting as the servant of the Lord, dasyam, thinking of the Lord, the friend, sakyam, offering oneself to the Lord, atmanivedanam, offering the best item to the Lord, nija priyopaharanam. Whatever one has, the best thing one has, one should offer in service of the Supreme Lord. Making full efforts to the Lord, tadarati akila chestitam. For the pleasure of the Lord, for the propagation of the glories of the Supreme Lord, one should make all endeavors. One should make all the endeavors possible at one's disposal. And then finally, surrendering to the Lord, sarvartha sharanapattis. One should take shelter of the Supreme Lord in all respects, accepting the Lord as one's life and soul. So these are the 9 items which are supposed to be performed by mind. These are all like expressing our desire to serve the Lord mentally, etc. Krupekshanam, smritir, dhyanam, दास्यं साक्यम आत्मनिवेदनम निजप्रियोपहरणम तदार्थ एकलचेष्टितम सर्वार्थ शरणापत्ति etc. And then Tadiya Seva. There are 4 items connected to the Lord's Tadiya, Lord's belongings. Serving Tulasi, Tulasi Seva, Tulasi Maharani. Studying the scriptures, Shastra Seva. Living in Madura, Madura Seva. Serving the devotees, Vaishnava Seva. These 4 are the objects connected to Supreme Lord. Tulasi Maharani, Shastra, Dham and Vaishnavas. And 3 items are mixed. What are they? Holding festivals according to one's means with the devotees. Yata Vaibhava Samagri Sad Goshtabir Mahosava. Just like when the devotees have deity welcoming ceremony as satsang programs, they invite all the devotees. According to their capacity, they should perform the festival. Observing Kartika Vrata, Urja Vrata, Kartika Vrata, Radhika Mas Vrata, or Chaturmasya Vrata, that kind of Vrata should be practiced with respect and honor. Observing the Janmashtami and other special occasions. On Janmashtami, Ramanami, Gaurapurnima, etc., etc., our respective places, we should actually perform that festival or participate very enthusiastically in the temple festivals. So these are the 3 items which are supposed to be performed, which are actually mixed items, which requires the karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, whole body, and all the other devotees, etc. These are like mixed items. And finally, the 5 items which are repeated again and again, which so these 5 items are having faith and great affection for serving the deity. Shraddha Visheshata Preetis Trimurter Angri Sevane. So one should have Vishesh Shraddha and Preeti, utmost desire to serve the deity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then relishing Bhagavatam in the association of devotees. Srimad Bhagavatarthanam Aswado Rasikai Saha. So one should hear and relish the narration of Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of Rasikai Saha, like-minded devotees. Then association with like-minded, affectionate, superior devotees. Sadati Ashaye Snigde Sadhu Sangha Sato Vare. One should always associate with like-minded devotees. So there are many variety of devotees. So different devotees have different priorities, different preferences. So we may not be able to gel with them. So we should always make friends with like-minded devotees. Then Nama Sankirtanam. Then finally Sri Madura Mandale Sthite, living in the area of Madura, etc. So these are the 5 items repeated many times, and they are very much important. So that is being indicated, and they have the capacity to invoke bhava in the mind of the practitioner, etc. So these are the 64 items of bhakti. So the last items were mentioned previously also, but they are repeated again. They have been again mentioned to point out their superiority among all angas. The 64 methods of worship involving the body, senses, and the internal organ have been presented sequentially, some being separate items and some containing additional items within them. Some are independent, one a single item like Shravanam, etc. Smruti. And some items are complex, combined items and little complex. So, etc. Next, the examples of each item will be cited according to traditional authority from chapter 7 to 12. And chapter 13 glorifies the 5 prominent angas once again. So though chapter 12 talks about the 5 last items, chapter 13 again talks about the nature of these 5 items to evoke bhava. So now starting from 7 to 13, so we are going to discuss about how to execute these 64 items and why to execute them. The last 5 items are the special 5 items which are repeated multiple times. They are Srimurti Seva, Bhagavat Seva, Krishna Bhakta Seva, Nama Seva and Madhura Mandala Seva, etc. So these 5 are the most powerful practices wherein execution of these 5 items can reawaken bhava, ecstatic love of God in the heart of the practitioner. All the 4 practices listed in this chapter are meant to achieve this goal, but among them are 5 practices uniquely effective in awakening bhava bhakti. So among the 64 items, the last 5 are perfect to evoke bhava. Worshipping the deity, Srimurti Deva, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, associating with and serving advanced devotees, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, reciting in Madhura. So like that, these are the 5 items which are very important, which are repeated again and again, which devotee is supposed to follow without any failure. Thus, NOD will extensively discuss these 5 chapters. These 5, the 5 items in chapter 12 and chapter 13. Chapter 12, they are described as part of the 64 items. Chapter 13 will describe the effectiveness of these 5 items in order to evoke bhava in the heart of the practitioner. So these are the items are presented in the next upcoming chapters. Chapter 7 talks about the first 18 items. Chapter 8 talks about the 19th item. Chapter 9 talks about the 20 to 42 items. Chapter 10 talks about the 43 to 46 items, the 5 items connected to voice. Chapter 11 talks about the 9 items, 47 to 53 items connected to mind. And then chapter 12 talks about item 54 to 64. The 4 items connected to Tadiya Seva, 3 items are mixed items, and 5 important items, etc. And 60 to 64 items are last 5 important items, which are again repeated in the 13th chapter, etc. So these are the breakup of the 64 items. The first 10 are the preliminary bhakti should be consist of these angas. First 10 do's, second 10 don'ts. Next 11 items are practiced by whole body, 5 items are practiced by voice, 7 items by 5 senses, 9 items by mind, 4 items as Devi Seva, 3 items mixed, and 5 important items repeated in again and again. So it is like this. Any questions till now? This is the 6th chapter. 6th chapter just briefly lists out all the 64 items of bhakti, and 7th chapter onwards it will elaborate on each of these items.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
हाँ yes प्रभु।
प्रभु जी जैसे अभी 64 आइटम्स में हम लोगों को मतलब सारा 64 का 64 करना रहता है, या फिर ये है कि इफ समथिंग मतलब कि अगर हम कुछ भी करें या मतलब मिनिमम दिस मच शुड बी डन, और मतलब या इफ यू आर डूइंग वन ओनली विद कंप्लीट डेडिकेशन, मतलब किस तरीके से रहता है ये?
नहीं, Rupa Goswami has compiled this literature in such a way that in our bhakti we need to perform all the 64, if not every day, but once in a while we keep doing all these things. Like a deity procession, we may not be able to participate in every day, but whenever we go to some traditional temples, there will be deity procession there, and during Brahmosavas we also have in our temple, like that. Some of the items may not be everyday day-to-day items, but some of them are everyday items. So whichever is daily item we need to practice, whichever is occasional item, that time we need to practice. We need to practice all the 24, but especially the first 20 and the last 5 should not miss. They need to be done with utmost interest and care. So it is like that.
Yeah, okay, Prabhu. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, in that association where this Rupa Goswami ji are describing this Swajatiya, means they are like-minded. So that question is right, if you are only associated in like-minded, then what about the others? Those who have means good quality, but they are not matching with our attitude or our, so it may be cause it may be become offense. So how then what
No,
should we
actually,
do?
in one sense, what Rupa Goswami is saying like-minded means not within the devotees, not like-minded. Among the entire society, the like-minded people are all the Vaishnavas. Every Vaishnava is willing to practice bhakti. So we need to be in the association of all the variety of Vaishnavas, all the different Vaishnavas. And we need to stay away from the non-Vaishnavas, those who are not at all interested in bhakti, etc. etc. But sometimes from the modern day context, so even among the Vaishnavas also different Vaishnavas have different opinions and different ways to do things, etc. etc. Sometimes there are difference of opinions, etc. So even now also we should have friendly dealings with everyone. But regular association will be with some people only, na? We will not be able to associate with each and everyone. So whenever time permits, we can associate with them. So it is like that we should take. Here, Sadatiya from the Rupa Goswami point of view, all the Vaishnavas, all the devotees. And Vijati are non-devotees. Like that.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. In here you have it is mentioned Mathura Mandala. Somewhere else you mentioned about Dwarka also, no?
Yeah, yes. Mathura, Dwaraka, and any other holy place connected to the pastimes of Supreme Lord. So especially our
Okay,
Gaudiya
but
Vaishnavas,
here
they
it
may
is
talk about
specifically meant Mathura. Yeah, here specifically Mathura is mentioned. But in
yes,
the
yes.
lecture you mentioned Dwaraka also. That's why I was.
Yeah, if it
Since
is
this
there in the
5 important
sloka,
mein Mathura is
yes, yes. Because it is the birthplace of Lord
Mathura
Krishna
is
and it is the place of, it is the Madhura Mandala, Vrindavan is there, Govardhan is there. So our Gaudiya Vaishnavas give more prominence to Madhura. Madhura includes all the 12 forests, not only Madhura.
all the one.
All the 12 vanas. So it is like that. Because Lord Krishna childhood pastimes happen in this place only. Dwaraka are all, they are all elderly pastimes. So Gaudiya Vaishnavas are mainly focused about Braja Bhakti. That is only Madhura Mandala. So that is given highest importance, highest regard. So in that way. Okay, any other queries?
Prabhuji, why there is no mention of Navadvip Dham or here?
Okay. I mean, Gaudiya Vaishnavas does not see any difference between Navadvip or Madhura Mandala. They see both are same. But the teaching is about Krishna Bhakti. So from the Krishna Bhakti point of view, Vraja is considered. Vrajadham or Madhura Mandala is being described. So it's like that.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
So if like you mentioned that we have to practice all the angas. So if somehow other someone misses this anga, so it is counted as an offense, or it is that he doesn't make a steady progress.
So not like that. Many of the angas we will not be able to practice every day also. We will get to practice once in a while, like Harivasara Sammana. Like once in a while Ekadashi comes over every 2 weeks and Janmashtami comes once in a year. Like that festivals, only occasionally we get to participate. So whenever they come, we should participate in those things without any disregard, with utmost respect, accepting them as the most important item for our spiritual progress, like that. If we don't follow, because of some circumstances, we are not able to participate in them. Wherever we are, we should observe them, the whatever way we can. So like that.
So that's what I'm asking, that you told that we should follow with utmost respect, but somehow other our enthusiasm is not that we will always follow with utmost respect. even though we are in a position that we can follow, but still due to some time lack of enthusiasm, whatever reason, we may not follow it.
If we come and participate, our enthusiasm will increase. If we don't come, our enthusiasm will decrease further. For example, like Janmashtami or Gaur Purnima, hopefully Maharaj is there. If we come to temple and take part in the temple program and do some service and also hear Krishna Katha from Maharaj or any senior Vaishnavas, our inspiration to practice bhakti will increase. If we don't come to temple or are busy with our other activities, activities, so that enthu, which can be increased by participating in that festival program, can be missed by us. So it is like that. So it is better to take holiday and even though it is not holiday, take a holiday and come to temple and take part in those programs or satsang programs. For example, like we have weekly programs, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday in the evenings it will be there. The program might start at 7:30 and it will end at 9:30. Office, we may have so much work. So we need to plan that day accordingly so that we will leave by 6:30 or something like that from office and we take part in the satsang program. So taking part in the satsang program will boost our enthusiasm to practice bhakti. So it's like that. So we need to plan our schedule in such a way that we will participate in those events by which our enthusiasm to practice bhakti will increase, our inclination to practice bhakti will increase, etc. So that's how we have to prioritize practicing the 64 angas of bhakti. And we will see now in the upcoming chapters. So by doing all these items, what kind of benefits a devotee will gain, how they are essential, and how we should practice them. What is the right way of practicing those items, etc. Such kind of things are being mentioned in these upcoming chapters. Sorry. So this is the whole summary of the entire Bhakti Rasam Sindhu. Although there are 4 sides of the ocean, we are only discussing the eastern side. So chapter 1 talks about the overview of devotion, Samanya Bhakti, and chapter 2 to 16 talks about Sadhana Bhakti. Now we are discussing this section. 17, 18 talks about Bhava Bhakti and 19 talks about Prema Bhakti. Now we are discussing the 64 items of execution of Sadhana Bhakti from chapter 7 onwards. So these are the 64 items of our sadhana. They are briefly enlisted, what they are, and how they are supposed to be executed will be discussed now in the upcoming chapters. Hare Krishna. So there is a query. Okay. Sorry for that. So we will take a small break now, 5 minutes. Then we'll again reassemble. We continue the chapter 7 because once we start and there will not be any interruption. So is that okay? Any queries? Any further queries related to previous section? Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, all the sanghas will be elaborated now.
Yeah, yes. That is what we discussed now. From chapter 7 all the way up to chapter 13. Each and every item will be elaborated. How to execute them, what are the benefits of executing them, and what is the right way, what is the wrong way, etc. some places. They are all elaborately mentioned. Now we are going to discuss each and every item elaborately.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll have a 5 minutes break and we'll reassemble after 5 minutes. Hare Krishna.